Hey guys, welcome back to Barrovain Made. Today in this episode, we're going to be making a plant pot for the Nana. Now, she might be a little bit disappointed because she wanted a rather large plant pot for a plant she already has. The thing is though, my Nana lives across the country. It's a big heavy plant pot made out of oak is going to be very expensive to ship, and I don't have a lot of money. What I do have is some oak and a smaller plant that I have bought. So, if you're watching this, Nana, sorry. It would be very heavy and, yeah. Hope you like the smaller plant pot. But, to make up for the fact that it's not exactly what she wanted, but it's something different, I am going to do a complicated sort of plant pot. I think it's called a splay joint or something like that. Basically, instead of just making a square, boring plant pot, I'm going to make one like a hexagon. And I've also, for some reason, decided I want to challenge myself even more because I'm that bad at math. I'm going to put a taper on it so it will taper down. This is going to be an interesting video, possibly going to waste a lot of oak, but I'm always up for a challenge. I tried using one of those calculators online to calculate the angle. I'm too stupid to figure out a calculator. So, what I have done is I have drawn a circle. I have cut it into 8 different sections. Then I have put a straight line across those to find out the angle. I don't know if that will work. We will find out. So I have taken that angle and I'm going to put that on my table saw, cut these out. I have created let me try and find it. I have created some little jigs to help me. Sorry, dropping things. Earphone falling out. So I have made some little jigs to make the taper that we'll need. Fingers crossed for me, guys, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of swearing, effing and blinding, and losing my temper in this video. So let's get on with it. So the first thing we're going to do is come to the table saw. I'm going to put this cross cut sled on the table saw. God, I'm bad at English. And I'm going to get my oak, and we're going to cut these into 8-inch sections. And I need 8 sections according to the little drawing that I have made. So yeah, I've already surface planed this and squared the edges. I didn't really need to square the edges because we're cutting a one of them into it, so it doesn't matter too much. But I thought I'd quickly square the edges and stuff anyway, just to make life go a little bit easier. So sorry if I seem a bit confused and all over the place in this video, because I don't have any clue what I am doing. But let's get on with it. Right, now we've gotten that all out of the way, we have to do the, I don't know, I feel like this is sketchy. I don't like it. And also I've lost my push rod and I haven't made another one since. So I'm a little worried about cutting a finger off. But we'll just see how that goes, shall we? So this is the little jig I've made to help cut my angle. Everything. I've got this broken insert in here and it's not sitting flush, but because I have to tilt the blade, I have to use it. So that doesn't add to the safety, does it really? It's a little bit worrying, but we'll just go ahead and send it anyway, shall we? Right, let me double check on my drawing that these are going to be wide enough. No problem whatsoever. So I guess there's nothing for it but just to start cutting these angles. Oh no! Oh, almost made a mess up there. We need to tilt the blade. Oh, that was close. I almost ended up scrapping. So I've already found the angle and I've marked it on my table saw blade. Not my table saw blade. Down here on my adjusty thing. So let me swing that round to where I put my mark. There we go. raise the blade up so it's tall enough. You tall enough? Too tall, actually. I'm going to raise you down so I have as little chance as possible as cutting a finger off. Right. Now let's set this all up again. Don't be me, guys. If you're going to do this at home, make sure you're doing everything as safely as possible. What are you catching on? There's something on the bottom here that you're catching on? What? Oh, you're catching on this, because this isn't bloody straight. Let me whack you in a bit more. Right. I guess we're going to quit moaning, whining and bitching and just hurry up and make the cuts. So, fingers crossed, guys. Counting 10 at the minute. Right, so we've survived the first round. We've gotten all the angles cut out on one side. Now we need to transfer that angle to the other side. So I have a separate jig for that. And these jigs, how you make them is basically you just cut an angle in it. I did it by using my fence, wedging in a bit of wood to keep it on an angle, and getting one piece, cutting down the middle of it on an angle, and then attaching a little backstop at the end to help me push through. It's probably a safer way out there to do it, but that's how I did it. Flip this over to the other side. And how did I do this? That's just going to cut a straight line. You flip this over this side. And that's going to cut the same angle, I think. And we're going to do this. Alright, I'm going to go work this out off camera, guys. My brain is fried. Right, I think I finally figured it out. I got the other piece. I took off the stop from that end. I put it on the other side so the taper's running the opposite way now. So I can butt that up against there with the taper hanging on this side. And this should be able to cut down here in a straight line, creating a taper going down and keeping our angles, or miters, I guess, the same sort of way. The only issue though is I didn't take into account all the angles and all that stuff like that. So when I do this, this is going to be a smaller radius, I think. I'm hoping that the angles still match up. I am completely clueless on this and how to go about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it all out because this is like the final cut anyway. And if I mess it up, then we just got a bunch of scrap and we'll have to start again. But fingers crossed we'll do it. This is also going to be a bit tricky because of the taper. It's going to want to pitch up like that when I'm pushing inwards. So I'm going to have to keep my fingers here and keep it down. But yeah, I'm just going to quickly nibble up until I just hit this corner to preserve the width. Because I was expecting to cut from this side, which is wider than the actual thing. But this side is smaller. Oh, I don't even know how to explain it. But I'm just going to make the cut. We're going to cross our fingers and hope this comes out okay. Because this is so annoying. Right, we have all of our pieces cut out now. See if this worked. I'm very anxious. Hopefully I haven't wasted a bunch of good wood. Right, so I've lined all of these up so that the smaller part of the taper is facing down. I only did a very slight taper because I thought with so many pieces going around that it would exaggerate it a lot more. But I don't see much of a curve just as I'm lining these up now, because I thought these would be more of like a rainbow shape, and there is a very, very slight rainbow shape, but it doesn't look like this will have much of a taper. But what we're going to do is just tape these parts all like this. Going to do a little dry fit and see what it looks like. Try to make the tape as tight as possible so we have decent amount of clamping pressure since we can't actually physically put clamps on this. So let's flip this over and let's see if it's worked. Oh, okay, that's lining up very weirdly. They don't seem to. If I take one out, will it? Oh, right. Seems like I've got an extra piece. I guess I did have to cut a little bit less off. It's not as big that I wanted it. The houseplant will still fit in it though. I wanted it slightly bigger, like that. But it looks like we've managed to get away with it and make it a little bit smaller. And as you can see, because of the taper, we're going to have to cut a lot off the top and bottom, so I'm glad we added a little bit extra on at the end. But it's quite a tall plant pot for what it actually is. And there's not really much of a taper going down it, not so much, not really what I wanted. But I'll tell you what, we need to get rid of a piece. So there was 2 pieces in here that I had to thingy, so we'll get rid of this one because I had to put some plugs in this. So we'll get rid of the one with the plugs in. And I guess we will just throw some glue in this, wait for it to set up, and go from there. I'm going to take this as a win, even though it might be a bit of a failure because it's not exactly what I wanted. I got the shape I wanted, but a bit smaller. So, I don't know. You got to do these things to learn though, guys. So, yeah. I'm not going to bother spreading this glue out because once we clamp it, because it's got a taper to it, it's going to squeeze it all out through the middle anyway. So, just do our lines of glue in here. We're going to get a lot of squeeze out. I'm not too bothered about the middle of it being sanded and being all perfect because, well, it's going to have a plant inside of it with soil and stuff. So, it doesn't have to look smooth. It's just the outside I'm bothered about. Oh, we need to do the edges as well, don't we? Glue them up. Eek. I need to put glue on those parts, don't I? That all looks good to me on that side. It's good to me on that side. We've got a lot of squeeze out on the inside. I think I will actually just get a rag. Before I get a rag though, I'm going to put some more tape around this. Just so we don't lose our angles and all that. Not lose our angles. You know what I mean, guys. I'm just going to have to do all this. Thinking about it, how am I going to cut a flat top with it being tapered down? Because I can't lay it flat like that and put it on the cross-thread saw, because it'll just come off at an angle like that, won't it? Do I have parallel sides to clamp? No, so I can't do that. Well, while this is drying up, I'm sure I'll find a way. That's surprisingly solid. I'm not really worried about anything coming out of place. I'm surprised tape has managed that clamping pressure. But yeah. It's a bit of a small plant pot, isn't it? I could probably cut this in two and make 2 smaller plant pots. But it is a bit smaller than the original size I wanted. As you can see, side by side. I wanted it a little bit bigger. But I guess that mess up with it, having to cut the wrong sizes and making these slightly smaller, I've had to take a whole piece out. So, yeah, let me count how many pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I definitely haven't cut one extra. I don't know, guys. You guys probably know the maths and trigonometry and all that stuff better than me. I did this on a whim and completely guessed everything. So let me know down in the comments below what went wrong, but we failed successfully on this one. So this is a bit of a weird angle. I have been trying to flatten this thing for the best part about an hour now. So I have created a jig I'm not going to show you the jig because it's very dangerous and stupid, but I will show you the process just in case I hit my finger or do something stupid, so I have something to show the doctor. But you can probably guess what I'm going to do. I have the router bit stuck here. If I slide all this forward, so the router is going to be spinning there, and I'm going to be putting this underneath. I've already flattened one side. I had to do a bunch of setup and dodgy stuff, but one side is flat. So I'm going to bring this in and just slowly spin it round, so we have two parallel surfaces. So fingers crossed, counting 10 at the minute. Let's give it a go. So now we have gotten rid of the death trap. I'm sorry guys, I know you wanted to see it and stuff, but I didn't want anyone repeating it. Dumb idea, I shouldn't have done it myself. We did get there in the end. This is sitting perfectly flat. I've got the piece here, it's all sitting, I don't know if you'd call it square, but it's all, you know, concentric, whatever the right word is. You might recognize this little disc from the previous video of making a dog bowl holder. This is the offcut that came off of it. I'm going to use that as the base and recess this in. So what I'm going to do, put this over the top, grab a pencil, draw the hexagon. Is it a hexagon? I don't know, I can't remember. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever shape 7 sides is. I think it's a hexagon. But I'm going to draw the hexagon like that. And then I'm just going to cut these out here. So I'll go ahead and cut them off camera. And we'll come back to you. So, plant pot is done. It's been sanded. I put the bottom in. Little issue with the bottom though. One, my camera died, so I had to record it, and my camera's currently on 5%, so hopefully it doesn't cut off again. But we got the bottom in, but as we were putting the bottom in, obviously the glue hasn't fully set. It's just like enough to grab it, and it split one of the sides a bit there. It's not really too noticeable. I shoved a bunch of super glue in there as well, so it's holding tight now. Hopefully it'll hold while the rest of the glue is tightening or whatever, but I should have made this a much more looser fit on the bottom as to not push everything out, or maybe I should have even just put something flat on the bottom there. But yeah, I think this plant pot's looking very nice. It looks very modern. There's not as much of a taper as I wanted to. You can barely even tell with the eye, but it has got a slight taper to it. Perfect little thing for a house plant, I think, or even, you know, to put a vase to put flowers in or something like that. I think it'll look nice, but we're going to be using this as a plant pot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab some hard wax oil and give it the good old rub down, and then after that we'll go chuck a plant in it and see what it looks like overall.